So, okay, no, just that one. I was going to get confused, but I just want to get that in there.
Yeah, it's fine. At some point, you can kind of like, yeah.
Okay. He could act civil, but most things didn't pierce his heart for whatever reasons. That's why he liked boxing. It gave character to his frustration. Inspiration was dim, Jim. Intolerance, impatience, and bitterness were sucking him dry of compassion. Annihilate the bum had always been easy on his mind. Brutal truths in a world where humanity had a cheap price tag. But his next bout was against Scotty, an old friend from the neighborhood he'd known better than most. He'd sparred a lot of rounds with Scotty back in the day. Good hand speed, knew distance, and could do something dirty when you least expected it. Scotty also cried a lot. My name is Hopper. I never minded inflicting pain once I crossed that line called sports. I never went out of my way looking for trouble, but shit happens, man. And something is going to get you whether you box or punch. Now, me and Scotty met for dinner in a deserted diner on the dark side of town to talk about old times and the coming fight. I'm down, Hoppy. To what? Emotionally, man. You know, I can't make myself happy. Everything unsettles me. We ought to stop going to those friggin' funerals. Nobody needs to mourn needlessly. Scotty worked at a flower store where he held the hand of solitary figures who had no one to cry with. He could go to a stranger's funeral at the behest of a customer who defined alienation. So who's your latest sad sack that's obviously got your head all screwed up before we're supposed to fight? Well, this little hardcore Virgo who raised two boys that ended up killing each other. Viciously, I might add. It was some deal that went south, and all her efforts in rearing lay in a bloodbath of futility. So I hold her hand as she mourns for what's redeemable. Comprende? Did you screw her? Or are you just the ultimate good Samaritan who's made a weird detour? That's gonna cost you, man, a hit in the nuts. That's too rude and obtrusive, amigo. Well, you better not pull any of that dirty shit you're so renowned for. Well, hey, man, there are like 10,000 steps on the road to China, senor, and the landscape is littered with Latin chicks wearing turquoise necklaces. What's that got to do with hitting me in the balls? Suddenly is what you should expect, amigo. You know the sweet science is based on technique. Then all of a sudden, Scotty started to cry. Tears of grief. You know, I felt helpless to console him. It was difficult because in a way I don't think he wanted my consolation. Man, I feel like a stranger on the outskirts of town. Everyone just gets uglier and I get sadder, he said. Sounds like a bad acid trip, man. Well, Mama didn't raise a fool, I guess, Scotty said almost to himself as he cried uncontrollably. Again, finding it hard to watch a grown man convulse in agony, I tried to make conversation. You have been training, right? Yeah, I've been hiking in the fog, Scotty said, breaking. Then changing gears in that remorseless way. You know, the only thing she brought to the table was a sexy body and a few groans. Well, that disappointed you, I said. It wasn't fulfilling after a while. Hey, man, you're lucky somebody came to your table. Then both men grew quiet. Vanquished, defeated, left with the option of boxing a friend for money. Mavericks gone lame. You know, Hoppy, it's all starting to feel like a ride that's out of my control. Well, you're skating on thin ice for sure. I'll just have to see where it goes, man. Well, just remember to stay down if you get hurt. Well, you're assuming I'm the only one that's going to get hurt? I'm not assuming anything, Scotty. Between us, it's always unresolved. Huh? Yeah. Well, the night that proceeded inevitably, and both men laughed about what had been, and tried to conjure a limited future. Not much left to be done, since the ring had taken its toll on their psyches. Confused, thoughts, broken chains, and clever self-torture made these palookas slump with the weight of just being. Closing time, they shook hands, promising to put on a good show for the fans. Well, I don't know what went wrong with Scotty. The vanishing point must have been beguiling. A week before our bout, he killed himself. He jumped off a picturesque cliff after sending me this email. You must leave me alone with my disagreement. How loud is the silence of forever?